Kia ora e te whānau, ko hone tōku ingoa, and welcome to Whākie. Israel has been imposing an illegal blockade on Gaza for months now, not letting any food or medical supply in to Palestinians that desperately need it. So on June 11th, over 2,000 people from more than 50 countries flew to Egypt to march to the Rafah crossing and try and demand that the aid be allowed to pass. This movement was called the Global March to Gaza. I myself was on the march along with 20 other people from the New Zealand Aotearoa delegation, and I was able to film some of their stories, which I'm going to show you today. There were a lot of police and authorities around, and I thought that if they saw my camera, they might try and break my camera or make me delete the footage. So what I did instead was I got interviews with the people, with the New Zealand delegate members who were there, and we've given them the space to tell their own stories, and you can fill in the blanks. A lot of people didn't even hear that the Global March to Gaza happened, but I think this was a really huge action, and I think more people need to hear about it and more people need to know. Myself, I had a lot of crazy experiences while I was in Egypt. I learnt a lot of things. I wasn't expecting the authorities to be as violent and inhospitable towards us as they were, because we weren't going to protest Egypt, we were going to say things about Israel and Gaza, but they were really unsupportive. So much so that when I was at the airport being detained, I met another person called Omar who was also being detained with me. Omar told me that in his suitcase, which got checked because they checked all of our suitcases, he had baby clothes for his daughter, he had clothes for his wife as a gift, and he had a Palestinian flag. Now the person in front of him at customs, whose bag was checked, didn't have a Palestinian flag, but they had 10 THC vapes in their bag. And do you know what the authorities did at the Cairo airport? They threw the THC vapes in the bin and they let this dude pass through right on into the country. But do you know what happened to the guy with the Palestinian flag? He got detained alongside me and many others for about 6 hours. Compared to a lot of other people on this march, what happened to us, the New Zealand delegation, was nothing. We got off easy. Still, I think it sheds a lot of light on the insidious nature of Zionism in the area and goes to show that we still have a lot of work to do if we want to free Palestine.
Yeah, we landed in Egypt.
Plane was great, landed in Egypt.
It's very interesting because we were not wearing anything identifiable. We were not wearing any keffiyehs. We were like, we want to go neutral because at the end of the day, we knew that if we don't have the permission to march, we're not marching. We're not going to be like bringing chaos or something. There were people on the side. And some of them are sitting down with some bags and some are standing up, and one person
Behind a fence,
yeah. And one person was like, hey, excuse me, can you help us? I think it was French delegation. And he was like, oh, we're coming here to be part of the march to Gaza, and they took us here, they put us here. And at that point I was just like in this dilemma of what do you do in such a situation? We're going through, there's no issues.
And then we go through the last little bit of checkpoint. We put our bags on the conveyor belts, and this very smiley, charming Egyptian officer comes up and says, passports please, and takes them off us and walks away. And that's when we go, right, oh dear.
Yeah. My birthplace is Syria. Same passport, New Zealand passport, but birthplace is Syria.
Yeah, and then they go, where's your Syrian passport, eh?
Yeah.
And they get confused.
They're like, what passport did you have before that? And I'm like, I didn't. I had a Palestinian refugee document before my New Zealand passport. I did not have a passport. All of the people that were in that detention room when we were all together got sent in, other than the people that were inside the other room.
Yeah. So
Moroccans and other...
all of those guys.
Yeah. Because they stopped us there.
Yeah.
They knew that was the right time because that's after everyone gets their luggage. Yeah. They can look through it. And then they took us after that, to another room, a little bit further back in the airport.
Yeah.
And then from that room, after some time,
Yeah.
they took us to another further point into the airport, exactly the place where that person asked for help.
Huge amount of officers and like young boys with batons, standing in all the doorways trying to keep everybody separate. They took our phones off us and our passports off us, and yeah,
They took the passport since we were
we were there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Without our passports.
And they deported me back on the next flight back to China. So at the same time that they gave passports for Han and Acacia to enter, they didn't give me mine, and they said your plane is about to go. So
that was awful. That was.
We entered. We have the same passports, all New Zealand passport, that we all abide by the laws and the space of this sand that we are living in right now. And we enter Egypt, and then you pick on one and you send them back. Why is that? Why is the Palestinian person in the group that was sent back?
Yeah.
Like what was that? We can't give you any reasons. Okay, connect me with these people that are making decisions, because that's what I said to him. And he's like, what? Like, do you think that I can just put you in phone with someone? Yeah. When you're not providing your side of the information and the data that is being asked from you, being completely transparent with the people that have paid money, that have paid their time and energy to travel across borders and be in this space, while you have given the initial okay, then yes, you need to give me access to the people that can give me the answers. Not just I'm. See, the thing is, we're not sheep. We're not going to stop there while we're asking for very, very simple, clear data and information for the reasoning why we're allowing a genocide to continue happening, and why we're not allowing people to move and activate and action a peaceful march to go and demand and keep pressure to open borders and get aid through. Then we have the right to get this information. Why is that? And that question goes and imposes on all the people that are in power and that are sitting in their homes and doing nothing. Like, what is that reason? So I asked them, and they said, no, we don't. But I hope you know that we're always with your people.
It felt good to be coming over here, to be so close to Gaza and the people there, and to be making what is in comparison a really small sacrifice, but to be taking the time to just focus on this. It came at about midday that we got this location, be there by between now and 4 p.m. And so we were all spread out over Cairo in different hotels and stuff. Before the march even started, there was police turning up to hotels and just deporting people straight from their hotels. So we jumped in Ubers and started heading out there, feeling really positive. The taxi driver was really helpful and pumping the music in the taxi and stuff, and we're like, sweet, it's happening, we're doing it. And then we get to this road closure, this like toll booth situation, and all the cars were stopped. So we handed over our passports to these guys, plainclothes police officers apparently, and they walked off with our passports, and there we are sitting on a desert road in the middle of nowhere with no passports. We see around like other Western looking people, or people that look like they're going to be part of the march, are all just waiting, getting out of their taxis, kind of looking around, and they let half the people through to the next checkpoint, and then let half of those people through to the next checkpoint, so that we weren't all together, we were all spread out. We're pretty sure now that the reason they let some people through is because they wanted, to split the group up over 3 different checkpoints. They come in and just start grabbing people, and they're like, no filming, no filming. We find out later that they were probably paying really impoverished local people to act as thugs, basically.
فيديو هكسره. بقول لك فيديو هكسره. فيديو هكسره. Hey, video.
They were either going to drag us onto the buses or we were going to go onto the buses. And Saif, the main organiser, was saying that we trust them and say, yeah, we'll get on the buses if you promise to let us off the buses in Cairo. And if you don't let us off the buses in Cairo, then we'll go on hunger strike at the airport and refuse to sign deportation.
Oh, they were actually trying to force them into buses, and it was getting pretty rowdy and rough. People were getting thrown around and pushed around a bit, and it was all a little bit crazy. So me and Koe decided to just try and walk straight out the front gate because they didn't seem to be watching that very well. So we started walking down, and people were like, some of the different guards were like, stopped us and like, what are you doing? We're like, oh, we're just going to the bus. We'd pass that bus, and someone else would ask, we're just going to the next bus. And then we walked through the gates and, past all these military people with guns and that, just nod at them and just keep walking like we're meant to be there. We kept walking, and we saw this taxi driver, and we like waved at him. We're like, oh, yo, surely a ride? And he was like, yo, all good. And then these three dudes ran up behind us and like grabbed us, and they're like, oh, we gotta get your ass back over here. And we're like, oh, yeah, all good. So then we start walking back, but then the taxi driver gets through the checkpoint, and he stops on this side, and we walk back through, and we see him, and we're like, oh, there's our taxi driver. We've been waiting for him. And this guy gets out, and he's like, yeah, these are my boys. I'm here to pick these guys up. So I chucked my stuff in this taxi, and the people that were taking us back to the protest were like real confused. They're like, hey, So we got into the taxi, and then the taxi driver realized we had no money, and he was like, oh no, I don't know these guys. Get them out. So then we got out, and Koe was like, you sure you guys have no money? Because I'll take you guys if you got some money. And Koe like emptied his pockets, and all he had was like a biscuit. And the taxi driver just grabs Koe's biscuit, opens it up, munches the biscuit. We've been looking forward to eating this biscuit. It was a long day, but that was kind of our only bit of action that happened. Oh, then we just walked. At that point, I kind of forgot about us, so we just walked back to the main area and just started playing some more music. But that was kind of the only action that we got because we missed out on the.
Now, I'll be honest with you. Now, I did not think that they're going to be that aggressive. I'm really disappointed that there was even no willingness from their side at all to be engaged in any kind of discussion. We tried to talk to them. They did not even explain at all what they wanted from us. So they were unwilling to talk even for a second or for a minute and to reach any kind of understanding or agreement between us. So this was very concerning for me because within this environment is not good for anyone. So I'm not just concerned about ourselves, but I'm really, shocked that they're not worried about the how they are being now perceived in the world.
And then above all of that was just real slow, just like, I don't know, these like meteorites.
And we're like, what the hell was that? What was that? We got a little bit scared. We're like, what is that? It was very far away.
It didn't really seem like anyone else was seeing it because everyone else was really focused because the police were surrounding everyone and people were chanting and people were fighting and getting forced onto buses. Just heaps of them just slowly coming down. It was very buzzy to watch.
And then again, another 4 of them went, and we're like, that really freaked us out. And then we set shit up in the next morning, and there had been a strike just there in Rafah. 14 or 16 Palestinians had died, so you might have seen the missiles that had ended their lives. So that was a bit rough, but yeah.
And so eventually it was like, let's just go with them, let's just get on the bus. So we grabbed our stuff and we got our bags and managed to stay together, our little group. Anyway, I was watching on Google Maps where the bus was going, and we passed the airport, so that was a bit of a relief, although a little bit concerning because we don't know where we're going. And then they just dropped us in on the side of the road in Cairo. Other delegations had people deported and their passports taken, and some Algerian people just disappeared. You realise, which is shameful, what our New Zealand passports afford us, the protection that they afford us, but other people from other countries without powerful passports, just don't get anything. Like,
It's part of the tactics of the people exploiting us to either pit us all against each other or encourage us to all, like, I don't know, just kind of sit back and do nothing.
Countries in the Middle East are being supported by the United States financially and their military as well. There is huge control from the United States over these countries and over these non-democratic regimes. That these regimes and these governments do not represent what people in these countries believe in. They do not reflect the aspirations and the hopes and the dreams of the people in these countries. When people try to rise up, to speak up, to do an action, even a very small little action to show support for the people of Gaza and to reject the genocide and the ethnic cleansing that is happening, we will see that unfortunately the government here, the local governments, will be just following the instructions of the United States and Israel and oppressing the people. At some point, the whole world is going to realize that this genocide is a shame on humanity. It's really shame that this genocide is happening in 2025. We want our names to be recorded in the right side of history, and that's why we're here. Although that we did not reach the point that we wanted physically, the geographical point that we wanted, but we have achieved a lot by raising awareness, by showing that we're standing here, that we are here, and there are thousands of people from all over the world who care about humanity and who care and cannot stop thinking about the people of Gaza and Palestine.
So the global march to Gaza never ended up marching to Gaza, but things haven't stopped there. The Samud convoy, the Freedom Flotilla, and the global march to Gaza have come together to form the global Samud Flotilla, and this time they're planning to sail into Gaza to break the siege and provide life-saving aid to Palestinians. This is a civilian-led initiative. It's apolitical. Its goal is to uphold international law and save lives. If you want to follow the story, you can follow Global Movement to Gaza, AUNZ, on Instagram, and if you want to be involved, you can go to the link in the bio and register to be a part of the team. Home yeah, hui yeah, fuck yeah.